Hi guys, today I wanted to make a video basically going through how I think death should be played at Legendary as well as how I think life should be played at Legendary. So I don't currently have I guess my own death warlord or life warlord. I actually haven't been able to get a match on my life legend, which used to be a Magus PvP character and is currently still at private basically because I haven't gotten a match recently. I also haven't I don't have the lore spells yet, so my deck is made with kind of, you know, not Luminous Weaver or a Goat Monk. But hopefully, one of these days I can actually get a match in queue and, like start uploading some PvP matches again because I guess for now at least, because partly because I think the warlord meta is pretty toxic. It's like life's where ice mastery install with like the Shambo spell, and probably still a lot of deaths, and ices are stally as well with their Shambo spell. So not too much fun in my opinion, honestly, to queue right now with warlord and legendary. So I prefer making these kinds of videos. But first of all, let's just start with death. So essentially, death should be pretty straightforward, although there's different ways to play it. In the, I guess, a few metas ago, you had access to Vengeful Seraph, which you don't anymore, which was obviously very much spammed, both at high level PvP and at mid levels. But essentially, how death works, from having played like a million of them and having helped some friends rank up on their deaths, is basically, I think anytime your opponent basically puts a death set shield, you basically try to poison it off. If not wand it, I guess same for debuffs. And basically, what you can do for death is it's kind of a question of pacing. And similarly to balance, you want to building pips. I find helps as well a lot on the death, because basically what happens is you get a, let's say, an infal and maybe a blade if you can, and as soon as you've taken a significant chunk of damage, you throw out a drain, especially if it's open, and you use the poison to help you get that open drain off. So basically, you'll heal back a significant amount of the damage they dealt to you, and that way it's kind of well, basically it's unfair, at least in mid levels, where you'll just outpace them and you'll heal while hitting hard, and basically because it's kind of a fast chunking game at legendary, you'll just win because of that. So for the most part, that's how it works. So usually I think Scarecrow, off the top of my head, is the most consistent drain, and it's very powerful. And then Wraith is used as well, but like I mentioned in previous videos, unless I've gone crit, for some reason, I just don't find the damage on Wraith is that amazing for the pip cost, whereas Scarecrow seems to actually be quite a crippling hit. There's also other possible combinations. Another great spell is Monster Mash, which basically has, like, I think with Solar Surge, if I'm not wrong, it has like a 1010 base damage if the opponent has a debuff on. So usually with infections, it's pretty easy to get off against most schools, and then throw the mash is going to do a crap ton of damage. Possible combos with a Monster Mash would be a Lord of Night potentially, or a Dr. Frank, both of which put a healing debuff. I'm pretty sure at least they used to, on your opponent, so then you can combo that into the mash and deal a crap ton of damage. You can also, just basically there's people that don't even really drain. They just, poison, 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 and get you low enough with the debuff and throw the mash out. And that's pretty much all she wrote, because that'll deal a lot of damage. The base with the debuff is even higher than Hydra's is for balance, and it's a straight death hit. So let's try to see where we can go. So I think for the most part, that's pretty much how death should be played, offensively. And for gear, pretty much you can go full offense, I think. So basically, same thing as I have on my balance. You can go with duelist, duelist ring and a theme, and then the boots. I've seen both used, but I think Glendemmings in general was more popular in the previous meta, and now that kind of I think everyone's aware of how offensively potent death is, and broken essentially. You can basically just rock Dworgen's boots with hat and robe from Waterworks, because I think the Hangman's gear is some of the best in the game, frankly. Oh no, this is the person. Let's go to Nice Court. Alright, so I think that pretty much covers how death should be played. So now on to life, where probably, although I haven't tested it thoroughly, I know it did work. For example, again, to mention my friend Zane, Jennifer Shade, whose account is now banned, unfortunately. Not really his fault, though. Um, Basically, I think the best way and least toxic way to play life is actually to play offensively, because life does actually deal a lot of damage. Their hits are strong. Specifically, I think Forest Lord is a very strong open hit. You know, just an infel and a Forest Lord, or you know, like any of the 7-pip AoEs, really. Same with like Orthrus or Power Nova. It's very strong. Try to get an open Forest Lord, and then you know, use Centaur. I think Centaur is more of a finisher. I don't think Centaur is generally a huge damage. Like, it doesn't have amazing damage. One thing that's great about Life is its base accuracy on its spells is very high. You know, I don't think I have perfect gear on this. I don't have the Clockwork Courser right now, but I think my stats are very good overall. You know, high HP. You know, just good stats. I think if anything, Life is it's 92 pips. You see, so I think Life stats are similar to Balance's, but maybe even a tiny bit better. And you know, how I would go about Life is, like I said, probably use Luminous Weaver, because I feel like the value of that spell is very high. Obviously, with the weakness, the reason for which I have all these imps in my, at least my theory crafted deck, is basically because I think one of the #1 ways to stop Life, and one of the things Life struggles with the most, are set shields or shields against Life by the opponent. So having a way to quickly get rid of those, as well as potentially the wand hit with the Aquilin wand, should help a lot. Get a blade up while you can. You know, Shambo, if you have, you know, I guess Shambo is probably used, although I've seen, obviously, Lifes now, they carry Ice Mastery and they use the Ice Shambo, but I'm really not a Staller and I don't want to play like that. I guess Emergency Satyrs, you know, heal when you really need to. These would be Solar Surges if you were higher ranked. But, yeah, you know, like I mentioned, you know, have a couple hits inside. For example, Gnomes is a high damage spell, obviously, for 9 pips. And a couple extra Forest Lords. It's nice you have the triage option in main deck as well as inside. And then the rest is sort of similar to a balance. I think Life played offensively is honestly somewhat similar to a balance played offensively, except Life has an easier time buffing itself, and Balance is an easier time avoiding resistances and shields. Obviously, I think Balance is very versatile in the ways it can deal damage. So you've seen my gear already. I think I just don't have enough tickets for the Athame, but this is very good. Give me rounded stats, the Garnet Barrack Claw. I'll maybe, you know, put Pip or Accuracy Triangle Jewels. I just don't have them yet. I guess a small tangent, I forgot to mention Headless Horseman is an amazingly powerful spell for Death Wizards. I think it has to be nerfed one day, because I think it's completely broken for the 4 pip cost. But, yeah, you know, I think Waterworks gear also for Life is incredible. Although Waterworks gear that gives pips is very, very strong. I currently have Mulinda's, because Prof Horde is basically got in every school, especially if you play a non-stully tactic. The Aquilin Velvet Lance, amazing offensive stats as well as giving some block. And yeah, like I have my balance, the HP amulet essentially from Mirror Lake is where you get it. I have my pet over here with you know, just a strong overall stats pet, the Fern Lumi. You know, a lot of people rock what's it called? I guess like the Feral Pet now, but it's not really necessary. It only gives you like 1 more damage, like proportionally to if you convert the Pierce of the Clockwork Courser to 4% damage. And yeah, you know, obviously on both rock the House of Scales deck if you can, with the Accuracy and the Triangle Jewel. But you know what, guys? I think I've pretty much covered it. So you can leave any questions if you have it. I guess going back to how most people play Life, I think they like to use the Hunting Worm spell. It's from people at face, but I really don't think it's very powerful. The heal's pretty bad, and the damage is quite bad. So it's just kind of doesn't seem worth it to me overall. It's just not a very good spell. So I'd rather not play Life that way. I don't have it yet, but obviously Spellamented Leprechaun is quite good. At least it was in the previous meta to get rid of an infection. It has heal back. as well as just like dealing damage like regular Leprechaun. So that's potentially useful. However, even how my deck is set up now, I actually don't have any Leps in. So we'll see if I, obviously if I get the Leprechaun, if I get the Spell Elements, we'll adjust. I'm also not carrying any Sanctuaries right now because, again, I only really heal when in desperate need, the same way I would on my balance. And yeah, guys, so please feel free to leave any questions. Thankfully, this video is not too long, somehow much shorter than the one I made solely on balance. But I guess because I have much more experience with that. Um, anyway, have an amazing day. I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, see you soon. Hopefully I'll be uploading more consistently again.